But the reality of this anthropology is different. So actually, I wrote in 2013 a book about why women should think about survival, because this model is not going to be sustainable. When there is chaos, and history is full of examples, most women who think they will survive by being protected by the strong man, in fact, they end up like prostitutes. And this is what history tells us. During the collapse of the Soviet Union, during the collapse of Yugoslavia, during wars, women end up trying to find those powerful men, whether it's the German soldier or the American soldier or whatever, who has won the war so far, and try to be with him. It's the war brides histories. But if they can't find them, and there's no food and there's chaos, they will end up prostitutes or being raped, because they have no more the protection of the family, of the city, of army, or whatever. Because this is anthropologically what men do. We protect our women, whether it's our sisters, our mothers, our daughters. We protect them, and we protect them efficiently by having a team of men, whether you call this an army, whether you call this a city, or you call this a gang or whatever. And for that, I'm sure many of your listeners know the work of Jack Donovan, who wrote about the way of man, and shows that the man is not to be alone. He is to be part of a group of other men. And that's how you start a civilization, because then that group of men finds women and protects them, and therefore you create families, and therefore you create a city, and then you build the walls, and then you rebuild civilization. To summarize, thousands of years summarize. This is how Rome started. Being Italian, Rome started as a group of thieves and bad boys, and stealing women from the neighbors.
Yeah,
but
I've heard that.
yeah, it's the whole story of Rome is very fundamentally. What is interesting is that Rome at some point became a huge empire, and you would think that an empire tries to find an origin story that is like, oh, we are the sons of gods and we are so great and this is why we are a big empire. No. They would say to their children, our ancestors, the ancestors of the most noble families of Rome, they were thieves, they were thugs, they cheated, they stole the woman from the neighbors. Never forget that. We come from the shit, we come from nothing. And this is why we are strong and we can build empires. Interesting. Then they forgot about it and crashed. But certainly there is an element of woman being fundamental in society and a drive for stability. And therefore you need to, I don't know what is the right word, but I want to say control. You have to control the woman's hypergamy so that you can stabilize society. And the only way to do it is with strong men that will say, no, you cannot go and fuck anyone you want, because otherwise it's chaos. And this is why I always joke with people, and this is impossible to change, it's too late. But I always say that Western society died, or the process of death started when you gave the vote to the woman. Because you give political power to people who don't know what they want, except trying to find the best possible guy for them. And it's impossible, because there's always a better guy. And so you can never be stable. And also because men, to please women, will say or do whatever the woman wants. And because the woman wants the best possible guy, they will have this army of simps, whether it was people who say, yes, sure, I will vote like you. Yes, I will follow to make you happy, I will vote socialist. I will vote for more sharing the wealth. Whereas the men say, no, I worked for this wealth. I don't want to share it. This wealth is for me and my children, not for the people who do nothing. And you destroy civilization. It takes 1 century, 2 centuries, but it's another factor that destroys. So I'm not angry or upset at women. It's the nature of men and women to be. We are made for each other, but women need to control us to make us do less crazy stuff, and we need to control women so that the woman does not become wild. If you don't have this control, the society explodes, and we're witnessing this right now. It's a fascinating time in history. We're witnessing the death of the Western world and the plunge into chaos. and it's too late to change. It's too late to stop. We have to work to build our own stability around smaller areas, or we move to Russia, or we move to Muslim lands where they still can control for the moment. But the Western world is doomed. There's no way we can come back. It will have to crash, and then because of necessity, because of suffering, we will have to find again the good old ways to figure out how to work society to rebuild. But for that you need to have this good match between men and women. And feminists hate, of course, this message, because basically they're like children. They want to do whatever they want without anyone telling them any limits. But the whole thing about becoming an adult is to have a father who tell you the limits. But where are the fathers today? There's no king, there's no God, there's no fathers. So there's no way it's gonna prevent the crash. At least that's my opinion.